They call me the Wanderer, yeah, the Wanderer. I roam around.
Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell if you want to see more of my content in the future. So jumping right into it, we pick up right where we left off with part 3. We see, a giant lizard in the Nile. So basically Egypt as usual. Lord Noob riding atop his own personal Godzilla Kaiju, arrogantly staring down on his victims below, proclaiming the oh-so-shame of their lost barrier and his own measured disappointment of his assistant, the thief from before, failing him, and how she is going to regret it. While he speaks, one of Genzai's assassins, armed with a bow and arrow, sneaks up from a distance to Taima to line up a shot and snipe the monkey man. However, in a moment of demonstration to his newfound abilities, he manages to grab it out of the air using precise telekinetic control and snaps it without even looking at her. Talking to Genzai the entire time, or rather talking down to Genzai, stating that he has no power over him any longer. Genzai shoots back at Taima, proclaiming that his brother Mirai has manipulated Taima simply into a weapon to be used against himself. However, this seemingly doesn't bother Taima in the slightest, as he calmly states that he respects the authority and wisdom of those who earn it, Mirai included. Genzai in his eyes, and let's face it, pretty much anyone's eyes at this point, being not worthy of any respect as a leader. Genzai being quick to interject with his qualifications, those qualifications coming in pairs. The 4 cloaked figures from before that were surrounding Genzai flashily descend down the Kaiju of the Nile. As they disrobe, a rather unpleasant sight greets Taima. The sight of 4 of Lord Noob's people frothing at the mouth like wild animals, with pupilless eyes and a strange tattoo or marking on their forehead, all of them rabid. All 4 charging at Taima like wild animals. However, they are no match for the wiser and much more powerful Taima. Before long, all 4 are battered and bruised, exhausted from Taima's minimal effort. Taima does give them the opportunity to surrender, however, in defiance, they all start to begin to charge their own unique ki blast. Then firing forward at Taima, all of them are quickly dispatched by Taima with minimal effort, knocking each of them down in the process. Although each of them get back up to continue their fight, Taima decides to end it for real this time. By using a powerful display of telekinesis, he tears up the ground into rubble, before circling the energy of his telekinesis to form a vortex of rock and debris, him selectively launching it out in all directions at his opposition, even managing to snag their ki beams in the air too, showing a level of skill that infuriates Genzai. However, like any lackluster craftsman, he blames the tools and not himself. And perhaps to show off and one-up Taima's previous display of telekinetic skill, he shows raw power instead by easily lifting a massive rock formation out of the Nile water. Being the size of a small meteor, he chucks it at Taima like a fastball. Taima quickly zipping out of the way, however, but as he does so, he notices some strange black clouds circling the remains of the debris, and turns to once again give Noob some shit. Genzai merely scoffing away and asks for the disc once again, Mirai interrupting by asking what his brother did to gain such dark powers. Genzai essentially dodges the question with a vague answer, no one having the time to process as the 5th, much larger cloaked figure descends, and is the first one to really give Taima a workout, only then to disrobe and reveal why, the combatant being a mind-controlled and rabid brood. After demonstrating the key ability of flight and some martial arts skills, Genzai recognizes the hand of Mira in his developmental growth and capacity. However, Genzai calls this meaningless to the raw physical power of his people. This being demonstrated as Taima gets gut-checked by Brood faster than Taima could see, regardless of Taima's now martial arts training. After bouncing back and exchanging some blows only to get gut-checked again, this is when Taima starts to form an idea. The battle immediately starting to turn for Genzai-controlled Brood, Taima, in a moment of feigning fatigue, manages to get back at Brood for the previous gut checks with a cheeky little gut check of his own, as Mirai uses his advanced telekinesis to paralyze him like Taima did before in the previous chapter to keep Brood in place, Taima yelling for the disc. Once received, he uses it to burn off the mental ward over his forehead of Brood, bringing him back. Brood immediately exchanging some tender words to his former pupil of Taima, apologies for before and now, Taima unfortunately needing to cut it short. He then immediately tries to fight the final boss, Genzai pointing out how ill-advised that is, instead opting for a wager. Fight my general and win, and he won't destroy the city. Taima agreeing, and with the help of Mirai, moves the fight elsewhere for the sake of no further collateral. Yeah, collateral damage. Russo managing to tag along as they go into the desert, hoping to find his father. I mean, I would personally save that for later, considering that there's a giant demigod here to kill you, but hey, you know what? Priorities. All five now standing side by side in the desert, Taima asking where his general is. And then, the giant King of the Nile Kaiju leaps out of the Nile, miles into the air, before landing in front of them. Like, I've heard of bringing a knife to a gunfight, but this is like bringing a tank to a fist fight. The apparently cannibalistic Soberich, dear God, I hope I said that right, being Taima's opponent, as well as Lord Noob's general of the Nubian army. That name apparently having some meaning or association for Mirai, apparently this name being the source for all of Genzai's wickedness, and apparently the source of his new name of Noob. Mirai only can guess where he got such powers from, Noob smugly stating that he'll just have to see. Taima immediately deciding to get shit done, forms a third eye at the base of his forehead, as well as forming a hand sign that resembles a triangle. This, for some reason, oddly looking rather familiar. I just can't place it. So anyways, Taima just started blasting. Managing to hit Sobashron, Lord of the Nile, in the chin, this barely even miffing the Kaiju. Genzai declaring that Taima would need 10 times the power to have a chance. Taima seems to get it, however, as he starts to immediately prepare for something despite his master's warnings, giving Russo his cloak for protection, just in case, and when the time is right. Taima begins to gather energy before shooting up into the sky, immediately rushing towards the center of his little ball of energy. And there, he immediately begins to grow back his tail and transforms into his frightening monkey mode. And oh, you know what this means. Time for a Kaiju battle! Taima immediately starting to fight, a quick couple of blows sending Shobashron flying away, scuffing up a valley of sand along the way with his feet dragging. Getting to his feet, they both roar and charge at one another. Taima managing to land on Shobashron immediately starts giving him the work, landing some devastating blows directly to his face. However, the little coward starts to bite into Taima's monkified hand. The gang starting to think that Taima might lose, however, they don't even get a second chance to second-guess Taima, as he pries open the Lord of the Nile's mouth and snaps his jawbone. His mouth grotesquely swinging open, gives me the shivers just looking at it, to be honest. Taima then immediately grabs him by his scaly tail and with one hand throws him into the sky, the clouds parting with the force of his throw, until the Kaiju couldn't be seen with the naked eye. Oh, dear God, he absolutely fucking destroyed him. This wasn't even a goddamn contest. Genzai looking mighty pissed that he just absolutely clobbered his main general. However, before anyone could gloat, Taima loses his mental faculties and begins a rampage. But, in an act of courage, Russo uses Taima's cape, rushing forward to help. The giant monkey immediately blasting Russo point blank with his mouth. But, oh boy do I just love Chekhov's guns, as the cloak that Taima gave him before the start of the battle has just come in handy, him barely even getting a scratch. Getting close enough and being snatched by the giant monkey, he's able to wake Taima up from his mental fog, allowing Taima to rip off his own tail, metal as fuck by the way, and shrink back down to human size. The gang immediately surrounding Taima on the ground, all congratulating him, Taima particularly thanking Russo for being a true friend. Although, Genzai is still there, by the way. Him speaking up as he stands over Taima, everyone kinda just forgetting that he was there. Taima managing to stand back up to his feet, groggily getting back on the proverbial horse. And, yeah, well, that'll be it for Chapter 7. Tell me, what did you think of the story of Dragon Ball Infinity so far? And what do you think of the giant kaiju battle in this chapter? Leave all your comments in the comment section below, and I'll get to them when I can. Another special thank you to Jordan Lee for allowing me to showcase his manga to you guys. And as always, support the artist by giving him a follow and keeping up to date with his YouTube channel. He posts some amazing stuff, so hey, treat yourself. And well, with that, don't forget to take time out of your day to stop and smell the roses. Till our next story, goodbye.